Stan Lee is an icon of American entertainment, the beloved grandpa or uncle we all wish we had, an image he's crafted and honed for himself over many decades through his numerous Marvel movie cameos and media appearances and interviews. Everyone loves Stan Lee. He's the forefather to the greatest achievement in pop culture cinema, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And upon his passing in 2018, at the ripe old age of 95, you could say his reputation as a permanent legend was set in stone forever, especially with his cameo in Avengers Endgame signaling the proper end of an era. But well, here's the thing. For the general public, Stan Lee's reputation has been cemented in stone as completely infallible, but for the comic aficionado, it's a bit more complex. Stan Lee is a bit notorious for riding the coattails of one of his much more talented collaborators, like Steve Ditko or Jack Kirby, while managing to take all the credit for their work. What I think that makes these accusations credible is the fact that Stan the Man Lee might not have been all he was cracked up to be if you judge his later output when he was mostly working by himself. Stan Lee put his name on many different superhero projects from the 80s onward, but nothing ever took off the same way as the projects he worked on in the 60s. There are legions of terrible Stan Lee projects like his reality TV show for the Sci-Fi Channel, Who Wants to Be a Superhero?, where people would cosplay as their OC characters so they could be in a comic book?
First, what I'd like you to do is clap your hands together. Fat Mama, I'm here to save the day.
World where the innocent are teased and tormented. A caring single mother miraculously transforms into a superhero.
Fat Mama, I'll take your food away.
With a creed to promote self-acceptance and a mission to rid the world of bullies, one donut at a time. She's Fat Mama.
So eat those chips and ice cream now. We'll take them from you so you don't look like a cat. Fat Mama.
Don't you try and take my donuts away. I see them, boys. I'll get them. I'll put them on top of the truck. You guys take them in.
Sir, it all started when my dad died. After years of excruciating pain, he just couldn't handle it anymore and committed suicide. After that happened, there was a part of myself that I identified in Spider-Man.
Or his manga creations like Hero Man and Ultimo. I could spend days talking about every terribly ill-conceived Stan Lee project. I mean, I think it's hilarious how much we all love raking George Lucas over the coals when he made 3 bad movies, but just take a look over at Mr. Lee's IMDb page. But for today, we're not here to talk about every single terrible misguided project that had Stan Lee's name on it. No, we're here to focus on one embarrassment. I'm of course talking about Stan Lee's Guardian project, where he made 30 superheroes for the NHL. So strap in, true believers, we're about to dive into one of the most ill-conceived embarrassments ever to hit the airwaves. You gotta love to be gone back, yeah. So hockey's always kind of been a red-headed stepchild of American sports scene, never quite getting the same level of mainstream acceptance as basketball or football. The NHL suffered diminishing ratings, especially in the early 2010s, and this was in the midst of the great superhero renaissance, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe beginning to kick off and the Dark Knight annihilating box offices. It was the beginning of a new era where the nerds were finally beginning to build their utopia where every bearded man-child with a collection of toys and Funko Pops could create a career on YouTube talking about nerd crap.
Very cool.
Very cool. And people over at the NHL thought they could ride this wave and try and regain some of the younger audience they were losing by commissioning Stan Lee for an ambitious multimedia project where they would win back the younger viewers by debuting a new team of superheroes all based on the NHL. It would be called the Guardian Project, which saw Stan Lee create 30 superheroes, each one representing an NHL team. There was a grand transmedia project for all these great characters that was supposed to be featured in film, comics, TV, and of course during broadcasts of NHL games. Stan Lee's creations debuted on national television during an official NHL broadcast.
All the NHL Guardians.
It's my great pleasure to introduce you to the NHL Guardians. The Detroit Red Wing, a natural-born leader and jet propulsion expert. The Toronto Maple Leaf, our biggest guardian whose growth knows no bounds. The New York Ranger, our futuristic Manhattan super cop. The Chicago Blackhawk obliterates opponents with massive gusts of wind. The Boston Bruin, his mighty roar, freezes enemies with fear. The Montreal Canadien, our MVP, makes all of the Guardians around him better.
Enough of this deluded fairy tale. Welcome to the main attraction. Me, Devin Dog. So, let's go fishing for some guardians, shall we? You, my little minnows, are the bait. Like your little superheroes aren't so super after all. And now, it's time to cut bait. The hurricane! It looks like the hurricane has saved you. For now. But I know the secret identity of the Guardians' leader, Mr. Mike Mason. Come and get me, boy.
The lore of the Guardian Project focuses on Mike Mason. Ugh, always with the goddamn alliteration. Sure, it works wonders for Peter Parker and Reed Richards, but Jesus Christ, give it a rest. So Mike Mason is a kid who draws 30 different superheroes based on hockey teams because he's a big NHL fan, but then the evil Devin Dark attacks the Earth. Then all of Mike's heroes come to life and save the Earth from evil forces, and also hopefully get people to give a shit about hockey again. It was supposed to be a media crossover the likes of which the world has never seen before, and honestly with so many great characters, there was no way they would ever lose. The NHL wasn't just getting $1 million character from Stan the Man Lee. I mean, just check out this embarrassment of riches he gave them.
The Oiler, the roughneck protector of the Great White North, controls wintry weather patterns and oil manipulation. The Coyote, mysterious drifter of the American desert, manipulates element of sand and controls a pack of coyotes. The Canuck, the resident guardian sage, controls the element of rain and uses focused sonar blasts as a weapon. The Blue Jacket, serious-minded Union soldier, has a devastating array of weaponry at his disposal. Doesn't get the respect he never deserved from Canada. The Saber, a human hydroelectric plant, manipulates water in all its forms from liquid, solid, and gaseous. The Penguin, the gritty young savior of Steel City, can project ice missiles from his hands and travels on a frozen ice sheet. The Bruin, Beantown Brood. Intelligence borders on precognition, and his roar causes petrification. The Maple Leaf, a giant walking and talking maple tree. An immovable object that can grow exponentially larger at will. The devil, underworld maverick of the Garden State, has infrared vision, flaming breath, and is a master matter manipulator. The Senator, half man, half god, all superhero. The heart of a gladiator and the soul of an inspirational leader. The Flyer, the punishing warrior of a broad street. A master of telekinesis and mind control with a granite chin. The King, a regal ambassador of the City of Angels. Has a shield that creates force fields and a sword that causes earthquakes. The Lightning, a bold, brazen lightning rod of the Florida Gulf Coast, controls the element of electricity. The Shark, a technological genius and software empath, controls an army of sharks to assist him in battle. The Flame controls the element of fire, flaming eye blasts, lava balls from his fingers, and can even create a flaming stampede. The Wild, an uncontrollable force of nature, whirling dervish of destruction, controls celestial incinerators from his hands. The Capital, the winged crusader of our nation's capital, a shapeshifter who controls a sonic scream and telescopic sight. The Avalanche, the Rocky Mountain madman, unbridled risk-taker who controls the elements of ice and rock. The Canadian, legendary protector of Quebec, controls power absorption and magnification. The Duck, rebel with a trust fund, amphibious protector of the Southern California coast. The Black Hawk, big-shouldered friend of the Windy City, controls the element of wind. The Hurricane, a barometric nightmare with a personality as wild as the weather pattern he commands. The Panther, a fun-loving denizen of the Florida Everglades, controls the element of shadow and dark matter. The Predator, Titanium Music City Supercat, has titanium claws that rip through steel and spits radioactive plasma. The Ranger, futuristic Manhattan crime fighter, an innovative machinist, he controls a variety of destructive weapons. The Red Wing, automotive empath of the Motor City, all the power of a Formula One racer and a fighter jet. The Star, a celestial enforcer of the Texas Plains, travels on a solar wind and can manipulate magnetic tension fields. The Thrasher, a duty-driven military man, fastest member of the Guardian Air Force. The Blue, a master musician, controls the element of sound using it for mind control, interdimensional teleportation expert. The Islander, the resident guardian marine, equally devastating on sea and land, controls ocean currents.
It was a terrible Mad Libs of generic characters. Like Stanley went to a local elementary school and asked a bunch of kids what they wanted in a superhero and just went to town, randomly picking out powers and attributes and stealing stuff from other heroes he'd worked on in the past. Now, as much as I'd love to go deep into the lore and explore the great stories these characters inhabit, I can't. Because, you see, each one of the Guardians got their own 6-page comic that was featured on the official NHL site, as well as the Guardian Project's comic book. But as you can imagine, everything has been shut down, with the NHL hoping very hard that everyone would conveniently forget this thing ever existed. They've managed to scrub all references to the failed Guardian Project away from the web forever, and as you can imagine, there's next to nothing of a fan collective that exists to preserve the memory of the Guardian Project. Hell, this thing is so forgotten that you won't even find any Rule 34 fan art. You can find some copies of the comic on eBay, and one very sad post on the official Facebook page asking if anyone got an official copy of the comic yet. All that's left is a few bio cards and a few scraps of artwork that have managed to survive the purge. Like this little snippet of the Wild in action. The Wild? This is the answer to my threat? I don't make threats, man. I only make promises. And I promise you'll be sorry you messed with Minnesota. But I think what makes this one so remarkable is the fact that he got an entire sports league to go along with his bad idea. Or who knows if he had any creative input towards the end of his life. There are so many people taking advantage of his superhero clout that I think he was willing to mostly sign his name and record a few promos and then just cash the check. But the fact that the entire Guardian project was such a tremendous embarrassment that the NHL completely disavowed it should go to show that Mr. Lee had long since lost the golden touch. There's only so many times you can come up with an alliteration name and some random superpower and hope you strike gold. Probably the funniest thing is that the failure of the Guardians continued to live on. In fact, the production company was defrauded $500,000 by producer Aldo La Pietra in 2012, who claimed that the NHL Guardian project was alive and well, despite the fact that it effectively flopped a few months earlier. And the court demanded he return the money that was embezzled. But this is just one tale of ill-conceived failure in the grand pantheon of weird and bizarre projects. If you'd be interested in me delving more into the many failed creations of Stan Lee, let me know in the comments below, because honestly, considering how much shit we collectively gave George Lucas for ruining Star Wars, but we still have these rose-tinted glasses for Stan Lee, despite the dozens of weird, dumb things he saw fit to creatively claim, I think it's time to go back and reevaluate his legacy. Because for every Spider-Man, there's a stripperella hiding in the closet. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this look at some of the less successful stuff that Stan Lee has attached to his name. Of course, if you'd like to see more of this stuff, I've got a lot of time. Let me know in the comments below. There is a lot to explore in terms of all the sort of weird, dumb stuff that Stan Lee has been attached to. And it's always been a fascination of mine, because we love making fun of George Lucas, but Stan Lee seems to get off the hook because we love his Marvel cameos. And he's had his name attached to some truly horrendous stuff. So I think, despite the fact that he's a living legend and has affected millions of lives, I think it's time that we called him out for some of the dumb crap he's done. If you want to see more, let me know in the comments below. Of course, many video essays to come. Lots of free time now, so I'm devoting myself to cranking out as well as I can, as fast as I can. So, of course, subscribe if you want to be notified when my latest video essay goes up. And, of course, if you have nothing better to do and this is your first time on this channel, there will be a link to my video essay playlist. Go binge that. It'll help kill some time, at least, since I've been making a lot of video essays in the past couple of years on YouTube. And a special thank you to Tim Opar for lending his golden vocals towards the voiceover, giving the best voiceover for some of the dumbest, most stupidest, most horribly created superheroes ever to hit the big screen. Thank you so much, Tim, and if you'd like to give your thanks to Tim, please go to his new gaming channel, Humane77. Go, give him a subscriber, enjoy some epic gamer moments, and give him a thank you for all the hard work he's put into this video, for creating an entertaining voiceover for some of the stupidest, dumbest characters ever seen. So please, go to Humane77, give him a sub, enjoy some epic gamer moments, and give him the love he deserves. But I would like to give a special thank you to my patrons for supporting me during this viral epidemic, and also supporting me before this viral epidemic. And to give them thanks, I would like to thank them by creating a terrible Stan Lee-style superhero. So thank you, Joseph Malty. Straw Man. He carries around a metal straw to save people from using plastic ones, and also shoots sonic blasts. Aaron Tony, Cheddar Biscuit Man, a superhero capable of producing an infinite number of Red Lobster cheddar biscuits with the ability to help hungry diners supplement terrible appetizers, can blast out waves of cheddar garlic from his feet. Carla Hoffman, Quaker Parrot Girl, can do whatever a Quaker Parrot can, so mostly just poops and screams at things. Walking the Steps, the incredible superhero with a Fitbit that keeps track of all his physical activity, can tell you exactly how many steps he's taken today. So if you'd like to join them and get a special creative shout out I do at the end of the video, please join my Patreon. Although if you want to save your money because of the economic downturn of the coronavirus, I also completely understand. But the lobster pots here won't be going away. You're always welcome to join. So thank you so much for watching this video, and remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it.